सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ओम निधये सर्व विद्यानां विषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ समस्तब्रह्मविद्या आचार्येभ्यो नमः ऋषिभ्यो नमः मुनिभ्यो नमः गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ देवताभ्यो नमः परब्रह्मणे नमः। ॐ वेदव्याससद्गुरवे नमः वैशम्पायनसद्गुरवे नमः याज्ञवल्क्यसद्गुरवे नमः आद्यशङ्करसद्गुरवे नमः अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। अथ तैत्तिरीय उपनिषत् पारायणम्। Today we will chant Tritiya Bhruguvalli Parayanam. Every day, sometime spending in the chanting of Veda mantras, especially Upanishads, makes us familiar with these mantras. Otherwise, any number of lives, we will only remain foreign to our great Shastras and our scriptures. The more we become familiar with the mantras through chanting, it becomes easier in the satsang to focus and attentively listen and understand, because we are already familiar with the words, to understand the meaning and the entire theme which is under discussion. It always helps. And because these Veda mantras are so powerful, they are of the language of the heart, the Sanskrita. With little familiarity, we start remembering them. They have automatic power of being remembered by us if we respectfully, reverentially make a habit of regularly chanting them. Then, with chanting, you become familiar with vigorous chanting. Some of the mantras have been remembered. Then, in the class, you heard the meaning along with the Bhashyam. Put together, it becomes a great data resource for our contemplation, for our meditation. That's how chanting is such a wonderful practice. Now let us do Om Atha Taittiriya Upanishad Parayanam Tritiya Bhruguvalli. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। भृगुर्वैवारुणिः वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीः भगवो ब्रह्मेति तस्मा एतत् प्रोवाच अन्नं प्राणं चक्षुश्रोत्रं मनोवाचमिति तगुंहोवाच यतो वा इमानि भूतानि जायन्ते येन जातानि जीवन्ति यत्प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्ति तद्विजिज्ञासस्व तद्ब्रह्मेति सतपोतप्यत सतपस्तप्त्वा अन्नं ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात् अन्नाद्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते अन्नेन जातानि जीवन्ति अन्नं प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्तीति तद्विज्ञाय पुनरेव वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीः भगवो ब्रह्मेति तगंहोवाच तपसा ब्रह्म विजिज्ञासस्व तपो ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा प्राणो ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात् प्राणाद्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते प्राणेन जातानि जीवन्ति प्राणं प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्तीति तद्विज्ञाय पुनरेव वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीहि भगवो ब्रह्मेति तगुंहोवाच तपसा ब्रह्म विजिज्ञासस्व तपो ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा मनो ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात् मनसो ह्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते मनसा जातानि जीवन्ति मनः प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्तीति तद्विज्ञाय पुनरेव वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीहि भगवो ब्रह्मेति तगंहोवाच तपसा ब्रह्म विजिज्ञासस्व तपो ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा विज्ञानं ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात् विज्ञानाद्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते विज्ञानेन जातानि जीवन्ति विज्ञानं प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्तीति तद्विज्ञाय पुनरेव वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीहि भगवो ब्रह्मेति तगुंहोवाच तपसा ब्रह्म विजिज्ञासस्व तपो ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा आनन्दो ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात् आनन्दाद्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते आनन्देन जातानि जीवन्ति आनन्दं प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्तीति सैषा भार्गवी वारुणी विद्या परमे व्योमन् प्रतिष्ठिता य एवं वेद प्रतितिष्ठति अन्नवानन्नादो भवति महान् भवति प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेन महान् कीर्त्या ओम शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ओम अतः श्री कृष्ण यजुर्वेदान्तर्गत तैत्तिरीय आरण्यकान्तर्गत तैत्तिरीय उपनिषत् ओम यस्मात् जातं जगत् सर्वं यस्मिन्नेव प्रलीयते येनेदं धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः। यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं। तैत्तिरीयकसारस्य मयाचार्यप्रसादतः विस्पष्टार्थरुचीनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते। अथ प्रथमा शिक्षा वल्ली प्रथमोऽनुवाकः शान्तिमन्त्रः। ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः। नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतो तद्वक्तारमवतो अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ओम शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Saluting all the gurus, rishis, munis, Bhagavan Vedavyasa, Vaishambhayana, Yajnavalkya, Adya Shankara, and all the Mahatmas who are blessing us, not only this life, from so many lives earlier, and who are going to bless us till we get into the truth in as many lives as we need to live. Now, first thing is what in Shastra or in Adhyatmikata, first understanding that there is something beyond what we are commonly, normally living. Something beyond what we normally, commonly live in with all the Indriyas, Mana, Ityadi. And that is understood to be the Brahma or Atma or the Paramatma. First thing. That should be very specifically understood, not like vaguely as we understand everything when our equipments are not fully tuned. Very pakka. In the second step, The thinking and conviction should be how and why being the self or knowing the self or discovering the self or that which is beyond this world is greater than what we are living now. Because only when we know that, then we'll be able to try for that. If two things are known, one is already I am practicing, another you told. What I am practicing already greater than what you tell. Why will I follow it? So this is a second step where we have to help ourselves as to find in our own heart very clearly, again convincingly, without doubt, why this spiritual life of pursuing the self is any day greater, nobler than what we are living now. If this understanding doesn't come, we will never be able to doing our sadhana seriously, sincerely, committed way. After knowing that, then we know the path for it, the path of various sadhanas. Now, when we having convinced about Paramatma being ultimate, because eternal is immutable, is changeless, he is permanent, is our own self, he is blissful, all are these words given to Paramatma, which are none of them are understood by us because we never gave time beyond the class to think about them. They all are meaningless blabbering of the chirping of the birds to us because that is our capacity today of interestingly focusing on the meaning of them. Anyway, one day let us say the meaning of all that is understood, then we try to pursue. That day we will know, ki though I am convinced about it theoretically, but to do the practice of sadhana to reach to that experience, I am at such a far of distance with so much of maladjustments in myself, in so many of the hindrances and obstacles within me only. Like I apply a job, I got the job. When I join the job and want to do that for getting the salary, then I come to know how tough or difficult is that job. When you do it practically, then you know. Then you understand right from managing the time up to managing everything. We are lagging behind so much with this non preparedness. Even though the opportunity of that job is given, we will not be able to perform well for our success for helping the company. In the same way, at one side, with lot of effort, though we are convinced about spiritual practice and sadhana to be the goal ultimately reached. Yet, when we attempt for that, then we know at what level of what do you say the vasanas, what level of the habits, what level of extrovertedness, what level of the life of all the desires, etc. we are. And all that put together is one only. Many things can be discussed, but we sort it out in simple manner by simplifying it. That our mind is not prepared for it. Our mind, which is the only instrument to do sadhana, to reach to Paramatma, is absolutely raw for this sadhana, unprepared at all. Now, what to do at the next level then? I understood that's the goal, spirituality. I am trying to pursue, but now I understand my equipments are not fit. Like you want to go to some 500-kilometer distance. So you are in the car. You started car. After 5 kilometers, the car gave trouble. It broke down. Now, how will you go? Or it is just giving trouble. बीच बीच में रोक रहा है वो, है ना? Something is happening, then you can never have a journey at all. What do you do? Though the goal of reaching the destination is intact in the mind, you just take the car to a garage. Or if you yourself know the repairing, you just come out of the car, go under that bonnet, open it up, and then check it and make it best. Only when the car is perfect, by all means, that we will be able to do that Suhana suffer, enjoy the journey, reach. Same way, at one level, we have to very clear, very clear that at present my antakarana is not fit enough for adhyatmic sadhana. And adhyatmic sadhana is I am convinced about because that alone gives me liberation. Therefore I have to do? I have to slowly prepare my antakarana to be fit for sadhana and siddhi. This preparation of antakarana is the one which takes many lives. depending on in each life what efforts we are able to put, depending on what exactly at the lowest level the mana is there. And all our sadhanas of karma yoga, bhakti yoga, ashtanga yoga, all of them are to prepare our mind for that deeper journey. And these yogas which we heard thousands of times without even understanding their literal meaning, forget about their explanations and definitions, it just remains as a time pass only for us without fetching any sadhana siddhi. Each words or each sadhanas details as much as possible. We must know and how they have to be done and how we have to see the result of all those sadhanas committedly done on our mind as to is this mind becoming qualified fit for deeper pursuits and contemplations on the truth. This total application is called as sadhaka. Right? My mind is now not fit for the deeper meditations. And in that, so many inabilities, insufficiencies are there, weaknesses are there, bad habits are there. Then, first, I have to focus on repairing this. And all sadhanas which help us in repairing this are called as upasanas. So, as many upasanas as possible are required, we have to do, keeping in mind the goal that our mind should become qualified for the meditation on the self. And that should lead us to the experience of the Brahma or Atma so that we are freed from our Jiva Adi Upadi Yukta sufferings. With the attention that whatever I am doing is for making my Antakarana qualified. And the qualification of Antakarana is what? Just close the eyes and see what is its position. Whatever is the position in it, exactly opposite of that is called qualification. That it is in Tamo Guna, so bring it out of Tamas, or it is in Rajo Guna, bring it out of Rajas, and it is not in Sattva Guna, bring it into Sattva Guna. And it is so much of the doubts, imaginations, vaguenesses, superficialities. How many are there in our mind? Slavery to the senses. In the mind, still the reality given to the world. All these we have to correct. These things technically are called as Viveka, Vairagya, Shama, Dhamma, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. These words which we study in Vedanta, which called as qualifications, sadhana chatushti sampada, is nothing but before mentioning these words, what we talked about the preparedness of the mana. Like what is said as Viveka. What is Viveka? Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya iti evam bhuto vinishchayah soyam nitya nitya vastu vivekah pariganyate. Only Brahman alone is real. Everything other than that is mithya. It is there, it is seen. Totally, we are not rejecting it as unreal, but it is there as but only appearance. That appearance is for prarabdha and for sadhana. Evam rupa vinishchaya. Are we fully made that vinishchaya in us that the Paramatma alone is real, everything is unreal? If this has happened to us, the second thing would happen, which is called as Vairagya. What is that? Tad Vairagyam Jihasaya Darshana Shravanadevihi Dehadi Brahma Paryantehi Anitye Bhogavastuni. अब कौन सा भोग वस्तु को हमने विवेक से उत्पन्न हुआ वैराग्य के कारण छोड़ दिया हमारे इतने सालों के साधना में या गुरु के पास रहने में? बिग क्वेश्चन. Here, giving up not one but all of them, not once but once for all. That is a vairagya. Did we get that? हमको डर लग रहा है उस सुनने को. Why this vairagya never came? Because the first thing itself we have not done. What is that? The viveka. What is the viveka? Only reality, truth alone is real, else is mithya. अब first step ही नहीं किया हमने. I'm talking about what we talked as preparing mind is equal to what is said by Shastras as sadhana chitta sampada. Correlate both of them and accept the need of practicing them. Then truly practice it and reach to that stage. So, what is the whole thought today? In the introduction, first find that there is something other than beyond this life of what we live now. Second, is it great or not? Think about it and get convinced. I'm only giving subheadings. I'm only telling the headlines. It has to be worked on. Then, if it is truly greater, worthy of achieving, then put the efforts. When we are putting the efforts, definitely will come to know that our present position is not fit enough for that. Here, the present position we talked about specifically as the position of the antakarana. We call it as mind. Therefore, prepare the mind. So, just like everybody in the world, professionals, they prepare their instruments and they use their instruments for the work. Whether it is a barber, whether it is a wood cutter, whether it's any engineer, any mechanic, they have only two jobs. One, prepare the instrument. Second, use the instruments to accomplish the work. A spiritual sadhaka, in his specification, in his pakka conviction, should have only these two jobs: preparing our personality and applying that prepared personality for the pursuit of the truth or reality on the seat of dhyana. Nayora dhyanam means there is problem in this upadhi, antakarana, the mana, then prepare it. All the time, preparing it and testing the preparation. Preparing and testing the preparation in the practice of ultimate. If that's not happening, then come back to prepare. And in the initial stages, some 10, 12 lives will be taken only for preparation, even that when we do consciously. Because of the power of this instrument, because of its mishandling from so many lives, it just doesn't listen like that. And as we said, if we can exclusively do only this sadhana, no other thing, going to a jungle, totally keeping away from everything with all the form convictions and anushtanas and vrata, and spend the entire life for that, there is a probability increases of becoming qualified in one life and using the qualification for sadhana. But do we do that? The total single pointed dedicated effort to prepare our antakarana, are we doing it? Forget about preparing it. We have not even stopped it getting spoiled. Because where is it? Is it in the same world of Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha? It is in the same world of so many things taken as really important, and we are continuously involving in them. Unless we withdraw from them, then act on it, that the mind becomes purified, single pointed, subtle, introverted. तब जाकर ना what we talk about the Brahma Vidya, all of that can be achieved. So as we proceed in our study of Upanishads, nothing wrong in studying them, but we also must once in a while pause and see where do we stand as on now about our conviction of the goal, about our sadhana to pursue the goal, and about the preparedness of the instrument with which we do sadhana. Then, after knowing it very clearly, very pakka, with full awareness, then take your time and do the due efforts. Keep on preparing. Like the women at home, she prepares everything, then all the things ready, then she goes for her cooking. हर चीज के लिए तैयारी होता है instruments का. So all this is said only just to be in continuous. Now, what we have done yesterday, whole day, and what we are studying from last 2 months in the Upanishad. Yesterday, whole day, we did the Upasana of the Guru. For what? Preparing our inner Antakarana. So, from last 2 months, when we are studying this Taittiriya Upanishad, all the six Vallis, which are six Anuvakas, which we have studied, sixth is half is done, half more. In all of that, what is taught was the practice to prepare our antakarana. The technical word used right from the beginning is upasana. Upasana is loving attempt in the path indicated to prepare our antakarana for the higher meditational flights. Without this, that will not happen. Without that, the reality will not experience. Without that, the mukti will not come. See, in the world make है ना, there are adjustments, there are alternatives. Therefore there is always a confusion and taking the wrong route. In spirituality ऐसा नहीं होता है. There are no shortcuts or adjustments. It is like this and like this. Only two things: you do it or don't do. Bas, you have to prepare yourself, apply your prepared mind for the self, recognize it. So, I mean, without knowing the truth, can I get liberation? There is no alternative. Without doing sadhana, can I get that mukti? No. Without sadhana, oh, apne aap nahi milta. Nobody else can do. Okay. Without preparing my antakarana, can I do sadhana? Sorry, there is no alternative. It's a fixed price. And who can prepare myself? Can anybody do it? I am sorry, nobody. You have to do. All guidance will be there. It's a buffet system. सब तैयार है. खुद सर्व करके खाना होता है. In the same way, in Adhyatmika sadhana is a straight shot. There are not many ambiguities. ऐसा है करोगे तो मिलेगा, नहीं करो तो नहीं मिलता है. So now we are Adhyatmika sadhaka. Means what? Our entire life, internal, external, we are living only to prepare ourselves, prepare our antakarana. In its Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhi, Shatka, Sampada, and now I am using the technical words, so that the Shravana becomes effective, Manana is done convincingly, committedly, and Nididhyasana happens to reveal to us that sublime truth. Once that is comprehended, once that is experienced, then every problem gets once for all dissolved. So remember always, after certain time of listening to the Shastra, we must come into conviction that I have to do practically sadhanas to prepare myself, to make myself qualified. And after this, little more thought, any sadhana you choose or given by the Guru should have its specific benefit toward the Adhyatmic sadhana. And we have to ensure that what is the way it is to be done to reach the goal. And we have to do that to do reach that goal. Here, goal means not the ultimate, the goal of why we are doing these various upasanas. If we are doing japa, for example, what for the japa is to be done, that goal should be clear. Then only how the japa is to be done should be clear. Then do it the way it is understood, pakka, and reach that goal. In this way, we have to be very specific. If not, what will happen? We keep on doing something without any clarity, in a vagueness, and imagining कि कुछ होता है. No, it is. There be a doctor who can just poke any injection and give any tablet and देखो patient को देखते हैं कुछ होता है. ऐसा नहीं होता. He specifically you must know what is the medicine, what is the indication of the medicine, what is the disease, is it applicable or not, which is applicable. ऐसा होता है ना करना. You can't be just like that experimenting. Like in a car, कुछ भी हम दबा देंगे ऐसा थोड़ी होता है. कहीं भी घुमाएंगे स्टीयरिंग को. You know, it's not. You have to go straight. You keep the steering straight. You have to take right turn. You take right turn. The traffic is there. You can't say run the traffic. 5 नंबर गियर में चलाता हूँ. ऐसा थोड़ी होता है. You reduce it, make it to. Is there any moment where you are not specific in your driving car or any work? No. But only in spirituality we are non-specific, non-clear. We are doing every good noble thing, but without knowing how to do what for. Because of which the time is going on moving, but without any substantial progress experienced. Because the progress is not felt or experienced, we again feel कि यार ऐसा वेस्ट है कि जरूरत नहीं है, चलो गो बैक टू संसार. ऐसा नहीं होता. पक्का करो, पक्का रिजल्ट आता है. Whether it is karma yoga, bhakti yoga, ashtanga yoga, through them making antakarana shuddhi, or whether it is through various beautiful values practiced, which invokes the goodwill and blessing of the world and people, all of them are absolute practical things. We can do them, we can experience them. Everything is practical, everything is experienceable. But what is happening is, we are in a routine doing. So the mana is doing, indriyas are cooperating the mana, buddhi is not there. Without the buddhi, what mana does is only yantrikam, mechanical. Every movement, like I am talking to you. Who is talking? The mouth. Who is supplying data to the mouth? The mana. But my intellect should be there behind continuously. Why I am giving this introduction? What is its current relevance in this particular Upanishad, or in our path of our evolution, or in the time where we are together from such a long time? I must be conscious in my intellect what I am doing. Then it is called as sadhana. Then I know that I am helping myself as well the audience who are co-travelers in the path, just to understand some little of these pitfalls where we neglect some things, where the important things are not taken care. So that's the purpose I am doing it. Need of recognizing the need of preparing our antakarana consciously. No sadhana should be left without doing, and every sadhana should be done with the clarity. And doing sadhana alone is the goal. When I do the puja, systematic, the steps I must know, process I must follow. That is anyway inevitable. But what for I have to do that? Am I getting the expected result? How many years your mandir mein that particular Bhagwan is there? But did you get the experience? Clear, if not experience, it's a strong conviction that the Lord of my heart is there in this idol. Now, through Him, by worshipping Him, by with His blessings, my entire life is going on successfully. Did we develop that faith in that Lord? With that attitude, do we go and sit? Many times, no, we light the lamp and we put naivedyam and all, do aarti and come. We don't even look at the photo or the vigraha of the God also. When I tell now you remember कि कितने दिन हो गए आपके पूजारों में भगवान का मुखड़ा देखकर उनके चेहरे को, उनके चरण को. हाउ मेनी डेज वी हैव डन, वी might have given अभिषेक एंड ऑल. अभिषेक क्यों कर रहे हैं? भगवान का आपाद मस्तक दर्शन करने के लिए, मानने के लिए, भावना करने के लिए कि आई एम डूइंग इट टू द गॉड. But did we do like that? Has it become a habit that every time you are sitting for puja, it's not the stones or idols, Bhagavan only I am doing? This is the biggest danger in spirituality. We just lose sight of doing everything because we forget what for we are doing. It becomes mechanical. Example I gave, every sadhana should have its specific goal to reach. And it should be in line with our ultimate goal. That specificity, and it all will come only after lot of shastra studied. You are consistently under the guidance of one guru, and then with their guidance we use some months of time to think within ourselves with a pen and paper and plan out, work out about everything. Again, restart, the restart button, like yesterday Guru Purnima is a restart button. What is my ultimate goal? Again, where do I stand? And how to prepare? In that preparation, what are the things to be done? For that, how the time has to be catered to? ये सब मिलकर साधना होता है. All other things in this systematic manner we do, and this system is more required in spiritual sadhana. There we think that in सबकी जरूरत नहीं है, which is not correct. Here also, it is more scientific than the worldly activities, more logical, more planned, more systematic spirituality is. Very systematic. And if that is done, beautiful. Individually, systematic done. More like yesterday. Now, how beautiful was the whole universe yesterday? Whole universe, I am talking cosmos. Why? Crores and crores of people were worshipping in such a most beautiful divine manner their own gurus. What an amount of positive energy it must have created in the universe. What an amount of positive energy. It is unimaginable, it is. You can't understand these subtle things that happen. But if that is done with more depth, more application, इसका और किस लेवल का होता था? All the negative would have gone once for all. Is it not done, but created? But again, the next day came, entire Guru Parampara is forgotten. This Guru Purnima is not one day, it's a beginning to continue till we achieve the ultimate goal. Ramanavami is not one day, it's a beginning till the conclusion. Those who have begun their Guru Purnima and Ramanavami last year, for them this year is a renewal only. It is not last year he did and he left the entire year. Again the new day, another festival came, he is restarting. No, aisa nahi hai. Nobody tells it like that. Everybody, every day it has to be done till we know Paramatma. But aisa karo systematically. How wonderful would be the whole universe, the entire individualities and all. तो सब कल गुरु भक्त थे the whole universe was vibrating with guru bhakti. Today everybody is again kami bhogi. Again the world is back to square one. Like we also in the class 1 hour Upanishad, no, contemplation, meditate. After the class is over, breakfast, lunch, dinner, other things. Don't miss breakfast, lunch, dinner. वो तो खा लो, but many other things immediately occupy us. Unwanted things we eliminate, that is the best help one can do to oneself. Anyway, so today's main essence is what we need to prepare ourselves consciously for the pursuit. The ourselves is our antakarana, more specifically our mana. हमारे मन ही एक साधना है, परमात्मा तक ले जाएगा हमको, तो उसको हमें ठीक रखना, तैयार करना है. Let us do that. For that only all these upasanas. Clear? Goal is intact, mind is under preparation. With a prepared mind, then you are flying high in the deep contemplation. This is how it is. Now, in this continuation of the upasana, now we are into the Dahara Vidya, Hridaya Akasha Antaragata, Purusha Upasana we are doing. And again, it remains theory, and immediately we forget it when we go to the next topic. Unless practically we do and taste it, the benefit of that never comes. No Rishi guaranteed the realization without sadhana. And no Rishi need to guarantee about the realization if the sadhana is done. And nobody can do sadhana for us, guaranteely, hame hi karna. Okay, in the sixth Anuvaka, what are we doing? As I said in the introduction today also, every day, rising above the three upadhi and recognizing the presence of the Jiva, the Purusha in the heart, who is the one through entire Stula Sukshma Karana Upadhi, living the life of samsara so far. Now that Purusha having recognized as me, now I take the track of sadhana. In that sadhana, the two steps are. First step is rising above individual upadhis, identifying the total upadhi. That is called siddhis. Thereafter, transcending all the upadhi, recognizing the essential self. But these two can be done. Recognizing the essential self, before that, identifying the total upadhis. These two are possible only when we discover ourselves to be something other than what all these upadhis external are. And that discovery of myself is found in our heart. He is there very much. Everybody who focused there, they found themselves. And now by मजाक में भी कहें, but बात सत्य है, nobody need to tell us get lost because we are already lost. And the lost of being lost of ourselves is the most funniest thing to ourselves. Is it not? Like when you lose the way in a jungle or in some of the village, wrong direction चले गए, get lost. पता ही नहीं चला आप किस तरफ जावे. Luckily now Googles are there, you just have an internet and on करो, then it tells you बेवकूफ तू डूबने जा रहा है, पीछे मुड़. She will not say so harsh way, but she will guide. But the earlier days, get lost. We are lost. Our identity is lost. Who are we? We forgot. What for we came, we forgot. And what are we doing? A person lost. Identify the three upadhi, anna, prana, mana, and we are living only life like that. Like children go for combined study to other friends' house. 10 मिनट में कोई ना कोई छेड़ते हैं बात, चल यार करते हैं करके they go for playing some sports or eating watching TV. They got lost with the purpose for which they assembled. है कि नहीं? आए थे हरिभजन को, होटल लगे कब्बास, ऐसा कुछ है कि नहीं? सेम थिंग विद इन अस. So recognize our presence as a aham in the hridaya. And that is what is specifically mentioned. What are these four words that are mentioned and whose meaning we are understanding through the Bhashya, that should be found to be ourselves as the experience. Then that me I consciously lift beyond the Vyashti to the Samashti. Like I am this Deha. So this Deha I have to take there. So consciously I take it there through the walking. So to I am the Jiva, consciously I have to lift myself beyond this to the higher. Okay? That's how the greatness of this particular sixth Anuvaka for being more practical regarding sadhana. Let us chant it, and while chanting only, you can become familiar with the literal meaning. Then, when the Bhashya is explained, more specific it becomes. Mantra and literal meaning of mantra and Bhashya, Bhashya's meaning and its explanation. All of that we have to do as homework every day if you want to be a true Vidyarthi of the Brahma Vidya and Upanishad Vidya. You and me, both of us, unless I study thoroughly and do contemplation, I can't understand and do sadhana and explain to you. So to you also. Yeah? Saya eshom tarahradaya akashah tasminnayam purusho manomayah amruto hiranmayah antarena taluke ya eshastana ivavalambate sendrayonihi यत्रासौके शान्तो विवर्तते व्यपोह्य शीर्षकपाले भूरित्यग्नौ प्रतितिष्ठति भुवैति वायौ सुवरित्यादित्ये मह इति ब्रह्मणि आप्नोति स्वराज्यम् आप्नोति मनसस्पतिं वाक्पतिश्चक्षुष्पतिः श्रोत्रपतिर्विज्ञानपतिः एतत्ततो भवति आकाशशरीरं ब्रह्म सत्यात्मप्राणारामं मन आनन्दं शान्तिसमृद्धममृतम् इति प्राचीनयोग्योपास्व. ब्यूटिफुल mantras. Chant करो, आदत बनाओ इसका. See, before we come to class, in what type of mood we are. When we come to class with Shraddha and with love, which you have, all of you wonderful people, how our minds get molded. This is called as Guru Parampara Kripa. This is called as Shruti Mata's Kripa. This is what is the meaning of. Slowly the Parabrahma Tattva is choosing us. You know, Yame Vaishavrunate Tena Labhyaha, whomever the Paramatma chooses, to him he reveals. Slowly he is choosing us. Everything is beautiful, the chanting of mantra and all the subsequent explanations. Okay. Now, first step, literally I'll tell you the entire thing in 6 minutes. In the shloka 6, 2 minutes mein. Then we see the bhashya, where we have reached yesterday and what is further today. One by one. Saya eshontar hridaya akashaha. There is the hridaya. In the hridaya, there is akasha. Very simple. Tasmin ayam purushaha. In that is this purusha. Which is purusha now? That who is other than bhurva swaha. The three vyavritis, the fourth one. And how is he like there? Manomayaha. Okay. And what he is to be recognized as Amrutamayaha and Hiranmayaha. These are all the goals that are given. In the Hridaya, Akasha, there is a Purusha. He is right now Manomaya. He'll have to be discovered as or prepared as Amrutaha and Hiranmaya. How is it done? The sadhana is indicated now. Here the entire thing is yoga sadhana. When we will explain the Bhashya, we will see. What is this? Antarena taluke. Up to Hridaya it is done. Because Saya Eshwantara Hridaya Akasha Kete hi. You must be very clear. We have attended to the Hridaya. In the Hridaya, that Purusha is found as Manomaya. Now that Manomaya Purusha means Vijnanamaya Purusha was running and identifying with these particular three upadhis earlier. Now we are not allowing him to get identified these three. What we are doing, we are trying to make him identified with the total upadhi of the world. For that, there is a path. That path is called Yoga Marga, not Vedanta. But Vedanta is not hateful to anything. Vedanta is the only beautiful path which takes the help of all the paths when they are helpful. They are not rigid like that. Like I talk about Parabrahma alone is ultimate. But I take the Karma Yoga's karma for Antakarna Shuddhi. I take the Upasaka's Upasana for concentration, single pointedness. I take the help of the Yoga Sadhana for Chittavritti Nirodha. वेदांती सबका हेल्प लेकर अल्टीमेट पहुंचता है, बाकी लोग फंस जाते हैं वहां. Vedanta is not like that. So here the marg of the yoga is taught. What is that? Antarena taluke yaha eshaha stanah iva avalambate saha indra yonihi yatra asau keshanto vivartate vyapohya shirsha kapale. Up to this is ejecting out of this our particular deha. Once you eject out of this deha in this process, then depending on your earlier importance is given to whatever the Vyahruti, the Atma of that Vyahruti, which is there in the universal level, with that we identify. That is said in the Falashruti. That is a big subject. I'll touch it little later. Like Bhuriti Agnau Pratitishthati. The one who is valued the Bhu Vyahruti more and more, knowingly, unknowingly, more knowingly, then he will be established in his identity with the Agni Tattva, which is the substratum of entire Bhumi. So too Bhuvariti Vayau. The one who has done Upasana and the second Vyahruti Bhuva, he will be identified with the totality of the Bhuva Antariksha, substratum of the totality of the Antariksha called as Vayu. So to Suvaha, the one who has done attention on the Suva Vyahruti, he once he rejects the body, he gets qualified to, or he is supposed to get consciously identified with the total substratum of the Suvaha, the third Vyahruti. What is that? Aditya. And the one who has done his Upasana focusing on the Maha, he will be identified with the total substratum of this Mahas, all the four Maha, that is not Maha iti Brahmani. And at that level of his identifying the totality, especially the fourth one called as Maha, Apnoti Swarajyam, Apnoti Manasaspatim, Apnoti Vakpatim, Vichyachaspati, Chakshushpati, Srotrapati, Vijnanapati, Inka, Aurbi, Etat Tato Bhavati, Akasha Shariram Brahma, Satyatma Prana Ramam, Mana Anandam, Shanti Samruddham, Amrutam. Iti, this is what I have taught you, a lifetime exercise to you, Prachina Yogya Upasva. Please do the sadhana of this called as Upasana. I just told you, I have not explained anything. One by one, I will explain. I am just making it familiar what is said in this particular very beautiful sixth Anuvaka of this Pratama Shiksha Valli. This is what specific study of Upanishad, Adhyayana. Pura janna chahiye. Okay, now we have seen yesterday. Let us take up Bhashyam. कि वहाँ कहाँ तक आ गए हम. You have understood कि Hrutpundarika means what? Pundarika Akaraha Mamsapindaha. Then Prana Ayatanaha. Then Anekanadi Sushiraha. Then Urdhvanalaha Adhomukaha. That is the gross observance of the heart there. Then in that Akash, in that heart, what is there? Tasya Antahaya Esha Akasha Prasiddhaha. How is it that Karaka Akashavat? First reach to something beyond Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manamaya to the heart. While reaching to the heart also, first for the sake of attention on the physical aspect for a little time, not much. Later on, into that inverted heart, our attention should go to the Akasha there, Karaka Akash. करका में कमंडलू उल्टा किया तो उसमें आकाश जैसे दिखता है ना, सीधा पकड़ो कमंडलू, उसमें स्पेस है, उसको उल्टा करो, उस तरह का हृदय आकाश को हमें स्मरण करना है. दैट इज अ उपासना वी हैव टू डू. इट इज देयर, इट इज सटल. As I told you yesterday, because we are caught up so much in the स्थूल सूक्ष्म को हम भूल रहे हैं. सूक्ष्म का कोई आइडिया भी हमको नहीं हो रहा है, कोई बताए भी तो भी हमको असंभव लग रहा है वो. देर इज आकाश, दैट्स कॉल्ड दहर आकाश, दैट्स कॉल्ड एज द हृदय आकाश. इट इज देयर. In that, we have to do the upasana of Purusha. Why? Because he is there only. Who is that Purusha? I am. Observe yourself to be stationed there. If not, you come back with the Dehendra Mana Upadhi and then become a full-fledged Jagrat Purusha with all the identities to conduct outer life of samsara. और क्या कहाँ जा रहे हैं सारे संसार के लोग कर करके? नोवेयर, भटक ही रहे हैं पागलों की तरह. They are going from one world to the other, one place to other, one object to other. Ultimate कहाँ? ओनली जा रहे हैं क्यों? आने के लिए. आ रहे क्यों? जाने के लिए. आ रहे जा रहे. Please feel the meaning of what I said now. We are born only to die. We are dying only to be born. Only we are running between birth and death. Nothing is known where to reach as an ultimate goal. You see the whole world of people, including ourselves. नौकरी वाले नौकरी करके पैसे कमा के ला रहे, खाना बनाने वाले बना रहे, मिलाकर खा रहे, फिर बर्तन मांज कर रख दिया, देन अगेन दे स्लीप, दे गेट अ मॉर्निंग. ओनली दैट वन. और वही अल्टीमेट, दैट इज व्हाट इज फेल्ट. उसी में ट्राइंग टू फाइंड द सुख चैन शांति मिलता है वो. But with all the again difficulties. And what is the biggest difficulty? That routine, if you don't do, you will not get what even that little sukh also. 2 महीना नौकरी नहीं गए तो निकाल ही देगा, पैसे ही नहीं रहेगा खाने को. Clear? Now, Tasmin ayam Purushaha. Purushaha is what? 3 Purushas I told. I will not repeat it. Homework for you. कोई देख लो दिमाग में याद है कि नहीं. What are the 3 Purushas said? One individual Purusha, then the total Purusha, then the beyond Purusha. Individual Purusha is Purishayanat Purushaha. The total Purusha is the one Bhuradaya Lokaha Yena Purnaha iti Purushaha. Third one is the pure self Purnatva Purusha. And with whatever we identify, listen carefully, that will be experience of that Purushatva. Okay? The Purusha in me is identify the Upadhis, then Purusha is equal to Purishayana. One Upadhi transcended with total Upadhis identifying, then Purusha is Buradaya Yena Purnaha. All the Upadhi transcended Purnatvat Purusha. Purusha is word one, 3 meanings. One meaning of Purusha is Purushayana, when identified with specific Upadhis. This. Second meaning of Purusha is Purnatva. What is the Purnata? Bhuradaya Purnaha. The total Upadhi are permeated by him. Again, third meaning of Purusha also is Purna. This Purna is not like the Upadhi Yukta Purnata, but Nirupadhika Purnata. Like the water. If it is identified with one weight, one wave, Purishete, that is Purusha of the water. Second, if the water is identified with the total ocean, it is called as Bhuradaya Yena Purnaha, that is a Purushatva. But if the oceanness is transcended and pure water, you look at it, it is called Purnata. Ocean also is a Samashti Upadhi. But by water itself, you look at it, not with any limitation or conditioning, that is Purna. Purnata of that water. So here also, Tasminnayam Purushaha. Okay? Now, that Purusha, how he has to be recognized as Manomayaha. Again, I am telling you, this is the Upasana to be done. Only after doing, we come to that specific understanding. What is specific understanding? I, which I am saying, and that I, after coming out, which is identifying with the mana, buddhi, chitta, sharira, indriya. That I is manomaya there, means vijnanamaya there. Means what? He is the knower. So in the heart, I am the knower. How that knowing capacity coming to me? The knowing capacity coming to me because in that I thought of me, the ever eternally present conscious self is reflecting or expressing as knowing ability. With that knowing ability, I am there as the knower of everything. That knowing is called as Vijnana. Therefore, what is that Purusha? Vijnana Maya Purusha. Who is knowing? And what is he knowing? Not the real self. In the real self, he merges later on, which is our ultimate goal. But now he is becoming the knower of his mana, knower of his buddhi. Am I aware of my mind or not? मैं अपने मन को जानता हूँ ना. I know my mind and its emotions right now. Do I have the love for you, hatred for you, or the neutral mind for you? I know. I know I have intellect. Is it not? And that I who is knowing his mind and intellect is Vijnanamaya Purusha. Then he knows senses. He knows Deha. Through all this, he is knowing the world. That Purusha we have to catch in the Hridaya Akasha. That is called Upasana. So Hridaya, in that Hridaya Purusha, that Purusha is Manomaya. And that Purusha Manomaya alone is the ultimate Purusha actually. But because of his conditioning in the Upadhi, he has become Vijnanamaya Purusha. Thereafter Purushete Purusha. After that a Jagrat Purusha. Then a Samsari Purusha. All these we have to dismantle or detach from and go in our awareness to that level of our identity. This effort is called Upasana. ये सब भी उसको पकड़ने के लिए जिसको ले जाकर भगवान में मिलाना है. पहले उसको पकड़ो ना. यू हैव टू मिक्स चीनी इन द चाय. अब डब्बा ही नहीं मिल रहा है, चीनी कहाँ नहीं मिल, कैसे डालोगे? सी आई हैव टू मर्ज इन परमात्मा. फर्स्ट हु एम आई विच हैज टू मर्ज इन परमात्मा. पहले उसको पकड़ना है कि नहीं. इज इट नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट? Still, we are. That's why this intermediate stage of recognizing ourselves to be the jiva. It is inevitable that jiva who is other than the anna pranamaya, manomaya, and that jiva who is supposed to recognize his essential nature by rejecting even that ahamruti or the total upadhi. बीच में जो मैं जीवा हूँ वाला बहुत important है. And that helps also, as we said yesterday in another text, when we discover ourselves as Jiva, not the Deha, we saw it in Drukdrisha Viveka, then the Janma Marana Ityadi become less prominent, less troubling. Because I am a Jiva. So traveling from one Deha to the other, so among them, this is one. So many I traveled earlier. Later also many Dehas will be given to me. With this understanding is there, this Deha Tadatma gets reduced. When it is done, the Tadatma to the world is only with this Deha. All of them also lose that much importance which was making it samsara. Like when I don't know about me to be Jiva traveling from one Deha to the other, in this body only when I identify, then with all the relativities around, I am so strongly relating as if it is reality. But when I know I am Jiva traveling, then I will relate with because it is inevitable I am in the body, but not as strongly as when I was in that ignorance. But I know जितना है उतना है, एक दिन जाना पड़ता है, छोड़ना पड़ता है. So you don't value it any strongly. That's called loosening of the samsara. You love all but not attached. That is the difference. You work everywhere but you're not attached. Because I'm Jiva. Even if I want, I can't be attached because I'll be kicked out of this body. तो जब जाना ही है तो like any hotel when you go, you know after few days you have to check out. Therefore you enjoy it but you're not attached to them. पता है आपको. But if it is your own house, then so much of hangama we do. Anyway, so we go to the next topic now. What is that? Uh, Up to this we came. Manute anenetiva manaha antakaranam. Then tad abhimani tanmayaha tallingova. All that we explained yesterday. The manomayaha vijnanamaya purushaha means what? That purusha where he is strongly feeling him to be aham aham aham. That aham has got feeling to itself of aham aham, because in that the Paramatma is reflecting as the ability to know the vijnana. So that vijnanamaya purushaha. Then tad abhimani tanmaya tallingova. Then he himself is amrutaha. He is amarana dharmaha. Hiranmayaha is jyotirmayaha. Today we will focus on these two words to understand. The amritattva of this Purusha, the Jiva, is by what? I told you yesterday, I think to some extent, in a hurry, because we are busy in Upasana. The Jiva is Amrita with regard to this body. Because the body will perish, but he will continue. So when the body died, did the Jiva die? No. So when the body is Mrita, what is his position? He is gone into other body, he did not die. That going to other body is called Amrita. Body Mrita, he is Amrita. With regard to, in comparison body. That is a dead and gone. Body dead, but he did not die, he has gone. So the body is dead, Jiva is not dead. Not dead means Amrita. See that thought there. He is Amrita. That's what Bhagavan said. Dehi nosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavananjara tata deha antara praptihi. Dhira tatra namohyate. How you are not a wise person, deluded fellow? How can you be deluded? Like you changed your age, balya, kaumara, yavana, madhyamavastha. ये सब हो गए तो you go to the other. They are all for the jiva, not the atma. Atma is always beyond all upadhis. That is the main anchor for us as ultimate goal, in which none of the dvaita, dvandva is there. हमको वो पकड़ना है. वो पकड़ने के लिए all these we have to understand and transcend. One meaning of Amritattva of the Jiva told. Second meaning of Amritattvam we told yesterday. What is that? Ki the reflection of me in the mirror is immortal. Even when it is not expressed. How is it so? Because whenever I stand in front of mirror, it may be 2 lakh years back, 2000 years back, now after 2000 years, after 20 lakhs of years, anybody when he stands in front of a fair mirror, reflection will be there. Understood? Be subtle here. Whenever the upadhi called as mirror is there, in the mirror upadhi, the pratibimba is immortal. When the bimba is in front. Understood? और कौन सा बिंब हो या ना हो तो रिफ्लेक्शन होता ही है इस आईने के सामने. If you are standing, then your face. If somebody, nobody in the wall, it will reflect. Be attentive in this thought, little subtle it is. This understanding is not becoming subtler. This jiva is amrita. Why? Not the absolute amrita. परमात्मा का अमृता नहीं, अपने आप में अमृता है. क्यों? क्योंकि जहां कहीं भी रिफ्लेक्टिंग मीडियम होता है, देयर ही एक्सप्रेसेस. द जीवा इज द रिफ्लेक्टिंग, like the bucket of water. In the bucket of water, the reflection of sun, that is called jiva. He is amrita. Why amrita? In any bucket you pour water, again the reflection is there. Though that way he is amrita, because wherever the conditioning is there, he expresses. But ultimately, देखोगे तो he is non-existent. If you can sort out the explanation of these two seemingly opposite words, we are calling him as non-existent and we are calling it as amrita also. With regard to the upadhi, wherever the upadhi of reflection is there, like ahamvritti is the upadhi. In that, Chaitanya Paramatma gets reflected as Chidabhasa. So whenever, as long as the ahamvritti is there, Chidabhasa expresses. Therefore, it is Amrita that way. Now imagine that Aham Vritti is transcended. Chidabhasa, hai nahi wo. What is the meaning of hai nahi? It is not independent. Therefore, it is unreal. Like my reflection in the mirror is eternal because whenever the mirror is there, the reflection appears. But that reflection, be attentive, is non existent. Why? Because it is not independent of the surface of the mirror. When the mirror surface is not there, where is the reflection? We are talking about the reflection. Please remember there are three things. I, the real bimbam, reality. Second, the mirror, the reflecting medium. Then the reflection of my face in the mirror. I am eternal, the self. That is the ultimate goal. The reflection also in the mirror is called is eternal. Why? Because whenever there is a mirror, the reflection will come. The mirror is there, the aham vritti in us. Though whenever the aham vritti is there, it is there. That way it is immortal. But otherwise it is non-existent. Why? Because it is not independent. Okay. And that is why when the self is recognized as the pure conscious self, in that experience, because little listen carefully, that aham vritti dissolves. In the vritti only the Chidavasa came and Jiva appeared. Now aham vritti itself is there, matlab mirror itself is not there. Where is the reflection? Where is the Jiva? Becoming very subtle. That's called, this understanding is called Upasana. In Vedanta, there is no meditation. In Vedanta, everything is Upasana. That leads to the experience. In Upanishad only, it's called as Upasanas. Like, no, Tasmin Yadantas Tadupasitavyam Yovedala Upasitavyam. Even in Narayana Upanishad, Narayana Suktam, Mantra Pushpam, Upasitavyam only. Upasana is what? To the gained knowledge, focusing our attention to reach to that. That's called Upasana. इंटेलेक्चुअली सुना, उसको स्थिर बनाने के प्रयत्न को उपासना कहते हैं. So we have explained why he is Amritaha. And Hiranyamayaha, again Hiranyamaya is again both way. Hiranyamaya means Prakashamana. As a pure Atma is Prakashamana anyway because it's Chaitanya Swarupa. But here, even the reflection of consciousness in the Ahamvriti is also Hiranyamaya. Hiranyamaya means gold. Gold means glitter. Glitter means light. Light means illumination. Hiranyamaya means illumination. हमेशा याद रखना. Hiranmaya is not like a gold which can be sold for such a cost. No. It's a Prakasha ka naam hai Hiranmaya ka. So even this Aham also is Hiranmaya only. So Amrita Hiranmaya. Both from Jiva Drishti, both from Paramatma Drishti. This Purusha from the Paramatma Drishti, the Bimba Drishti is Amrita. And from Bimba Drishti is Hiranyamaya because it's pure consciousness. From the Jiva Drishti also is Amrita because wherever the reflecting medium is there, he is there. And is Hiranyamaya also from the Upadhi Drishti because the reflection of Paramatma in that Aham is as Hiranyamaya means as a knower. वो नोवर है मेरे अंदर, तभी तो मैं सब जान रहा हूँ, सभी तो मैं देख रहा हूँ. Remember, if that knower in me is not there, all the upadhis, they are not knowing. Eye is not seeing anything for its sake. Nose is not smelling. Ears are not listening. Na? The mind is not doing mananam for itself. The intellect is not contemplating. Through all the upadhi, the jiva who is the Hiranyamaya, he is knowing all of that. That jiva you have to catch in the heart. That's called as here the Dahara Upasana. Now it is totally lost. I am becoming a seer through the eye. I have become the seer, a listener through ear. But who am I that? We have lost sight of him. That Hiranyamaya Amrutamaya Purusha, clear? We have to recognize in the cave of our heart. as ourselves, as Jiva. And that to me, in the process, will reject this individual upadhi, identify the total. Beyond the total upadhi also, I discover the self. This is what the technique here. So tasmin ayam, see, it looks to be so simple. Saya eshantara hridaya akasha tasmin ayam purusho manomayaha amruto hiranmayaha. 7 seconds it took for chanting it. 8 seconds. Saya eshantara hridaya akasha tasmin ayam purusho manomayaha amruto hiranmayaha. Art. But we are struggling to understand it from 4 days. To some extent, we understood. Now, to recognize the Purusha, how many months, years we have to spend. And all that depends on how much fully we are detached from Anamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya. ये नहीं करोगे that Vijnanamaya Purusha will identify with these three and live as a fully full-fledged samsari only. We can never recognize him. And all this happening on the seat of meditation after Dehatadasma is given up, Prana is given up, Mana is given up, then we have focused into the heart. There the contemplation is going on. And if that is really going on, contemplation where we are trying to discover the Hrudaya Antarastha, Hiranmaya, Manomaya, Purushaha, if I am at that level, actually at that highest level, what should happen? The body's identity along with all the itchings of the body, cold and hot of the body, or the stiffness of the body, pains in the knee, इसका कोई भान ही नहीं होना चाहिए. In other words, the body sense should not. So too, the inhaling, exhaling, which is going on happening, Lord is doing himself, उसका हमें भान नहीं होना है. हो रहा है का अर्थ, we have come down to recognize or identifying with. More higher is what? Even the sense organs are not perceiving anything. No sounds are heard. Mainly sounds because eyes are anyway closed. Then the mind also having no sankalpa, vikalpa of its own prompted by its habits or the vasanas. That is the state we have to reach in the cave of heart to recognize the Purusha. And if you do that, definitely we will find him. I am Purushaha, Manomayaha, Hiranmayaha. Tasminnayam Purusha, Manomayaha, Amrutaha, Hiranmayaha. Then this Purusha is now consciously is lifted from this Deha to the universal totality. और वो भी वो साधना है. वो मांग होता है वहां, कोशिश होता है वहां, and many other gross sadhanas are to be done outside for facilitating the inner sadhana. It's a huge subject which I have to explain to you for days together. उसमें हम नहीं जाएंगे. Now we come to the next. It's understood. Tasminayam Purusha, Manomaya, Amrito Hiranmaya. Now these Hiranmaya Purusha, Manomaya Purusha, Amritamaya Purusha, he will have to eject out of this Panchakosha to identify the total. How to do that? Next is the portion. Where is he to be slowly lifted to? First is to be lifted to his this throat portion. Then he should be lifted to this crown portion. And from there, ejecting out. Like at the level of either coma or absolutely chakkar aakar gir gaye, we can't move. But when we have gathered some energy, then we move. This is physically. So too, at the coma level of our Jiva Bhava, now we are not consciously moving ourselves. Our movements are guided by only our Tadatma with Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya. Coma. We are all in coma. That's what Purushete. But when we have gathered the energy subtler, that's what the entire yoga practice is. Then I can start moving. Now I am using the yogic technical words. I can start moving from one chakra to the other chakra. Not an easy thing. To shift myself from one chakra to the other, lot of sacrifices I have to do. Now I'll talk it only now. अभी क्या छुपाना है थोड़ा सा बता ही देते हैं. Right, straight away this Upanishad is talking about Hridaya. Now, according to the Hridaya, which is the chakra is there? The Anahata chakra is there. But remember, this is a fourth chakra among the seven. So he is directly addressing the fourth. And where are we? चक्कर किरके गिर गए चक्कर लगकर गिरे हुए हम. We are not even at the Mooladhara. First, me, the one who is scattered in the absolute terrible samsara, I have to gather my attention or my presence, gather my awareness or my presence. The one who is scattered through all senses, body, into the worldly activity intelligences, that me I have to gather and take first to the Mooladhara. That will happen only when I stop living the life at the Annamaya level for the bhoga of this Annamaya Sharira. Then only when I slowly start living for everybody in the world, I come to the second chakra, Swadhisthana. Only after which, when I start developing selfless love for everyone and live life like that for a sufficient period of time, then I am lifting myself to the Manipura. I spoke to you all this in 3 minutes, but to reach that, it will take 300 lives. Then after Manipura only, when I, who was earlier living as a samsari, now I came up to the Mooladhara by detaching from the Deha. Then I came up to Swadhisthana by serving everyone around. When I came up to the Manipura by loving all, then comes the question, who am I? At that level of the arrival of the question, who am I? Then I reach to the Anahata Chakram. In that Anahata, this Jiva, in his effort of detaching from even that Ahamvriti, he slowly becomes the purified soul. That's why this is the throat chakra we call Vishuddha Chakra. Then here, when you come, the Prakriti Purusha absolutely become amalgamized, undifferentiated way. It is called the Agnya Chakra. With that, he will be bringing himself to Sahasrara. From that Sahasrara, he just ejected out to merge with either directly Brahma Tattva, if the Brahma Tattva is practiced right from beginning, or to whatever these sankalpas were there strong, to those lokas he goes. And in this Upanishad, whatever the Vyaharti has given importance to that Vyaharti's Atma or substratum, he will go and identify. Remember, while staying in this body only, body is not dead, is not gone out of the body. The Jiva is expanding his identity beyond the shores of only this Deha. And that is why he becomes Siddha Purusha. That's why he is able to command every body, every prana, every mana of others. That is what is said in the Falashruti. This is one Chakra Bhedana Margam. This is another Kundalini Yoga Marga. That is different, this is different. In that Kundalini Yoga Marga, which is more specifically spoken here, ki the two nadis which are intervened and moving from this bottom portion, and in between there is another third nadi they talk about. And at present moment, our energies are flowing through these two nadis. Ida and Pingala they call. And Ida Pingala mein our energy pura ghum raha hai. So we are 2000% samsari. Dehi, a worldly person. Nothing of spirituality, even iota also is not known. And by balancing this Ida Pingala through pranayama for many, many, many years, slowly the Sushumna gets opened. And through the Sushumna again, the Shakti Prasarana happens. And in that Sushumna Nadi, now alone at the various points, these chakras. They say 7, there are hundreds of chakras beyond also. ये सहस्रार के चारों तरफ भी बहुत चक्कर घूम रहे. Everything is chakra in body. That is again different language. The main are these ones. That's a big yoga marga that I have not studied it. A little one or two thoughts to share with you. That is a tougher job it is. वेदांत easy करो या ना करो कोई पूछते ही नहीं. But this yoga marga आधा करके छोड़ दिया, ये जीव कहाँ भटकेगा नहीं पता. He will have such a terrible thing if he is following the yoga marga. In between he left it or not following the guru and doing independently. वेदांत कितना भी इंडिपेंडेंट फर्क ही पड़ता नहीं क्योंकि गुस्सा हो जाता ही नहीं. You all must be experiencing every day study Upanishad, but nothing understood. But in the Yoga Marga, it appears to be something substantial. But once you do under the guidance of Guru systematically, then the opening up of the chakras or the moving up through the Sushumna slowly happens. But it is a very tough process, ज़बरदस्ती वाला process होता है वो योग साधना का. So you have to do lot of sacrifices, you have to go through all pains, and in the yoga marga, everything achieved in one life. Therefore, pressure of so many vasanas, lives of vasanas, thousands of lives of vasanas, pressurize this jiva so much that this type of yoga करने वाला इतना भयंकर angry person will becomes kami, he becomes and he will become extraneous. Because so many lives things he wants to exhaust in one. Now, these are all subjects you need not know, I'm just touching. बट वेदांत में ऐसा नहीं है. वेद बहुनाम जन्मनाम अंते धीरे धीरे. स्वामी वेदांत पढ़ो लेकिन फिर भी आई एम नॉट हैप्पी सेटिस्फाइड विद चिल्ड्रन एटसेट्रा. ओके मैरी और एक बार और 10 जन्म के बाद आना, कोई जल्दी नहीं. This is how Vedanta seems very good. And the more you are intense in your seeking, then the path is in one life. एक क्षण में भी you just like Shukadeva and Vamadeva or so many great saints of modern world, the Guru said you are not Deha Mana Buddhi, you are Atma. हो गया उनको. ऐसा भी होता है. So we have come up to this meaning of Tasminayam Purusho Manomaya Amruto Hiranmaya. Then the meaning of next sloka I told you, Antarena Taluke, Stanaiva Avalambate, Sa Indrayonihi, Yatraso Keshanto Vivarte, Vipohe Shirshakapale. All that is the Yoga Marga in which the Jiva is lifting himself from the Anahata to the Vishuddha, from the Vishuddha direct to the Agnya and going beyond. तो विशुद्ध से ये आज्ञा चक्र आता है, देने सहस्त्रार कहते हैं इसको. So through Agnya and Sahasrara, he is going beyond. And so many hundreds of saints have gone through these things and hundreds of possibilities they have written in the forms of hundreds of books. All of them are right in their own way. Each one while doing so has got his own different experiences. But all of these ultimately, if it should lead to Aham Brahmasmi. If not, like we are bhataking in this deha, somewhere like in karma. कर्मयोग के रूप में नहीं करो तो जैसे वासनाएं बनकर भटकते हैं. Same way these sadhanas, they are not aimed at Paramatma, then we get caught up in some siddhis, we get caught up in some specific powers and doing this and that. That's not realization. Is it not? There's not great realization. They're all again siddhis, like अंतर्धान सिद्धि. गायब हो गए तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है तुम हो या ना हो किसी को. यार मैं गायब हो गया, ठीक है हो जाओ. These siddhis have only fancy for some time. None of them are permanent infinite blisses. Anyway, coming to this point, after saying to us how from the taluka through this यहाँ से बाहर निकलने का, where he goes and identifies that topic we'll talk tomorrow. So what is said till today, let me conclude with that so that from there we start tomorrow. We detach from Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, discovered ourselves have a jiva in our heart. That jiva is what? Purushaha, Manomayaha, Amrutaha, Hiranmaya. That Purusha, Manomaya, Amrita, Hiranmaya, having I recognize myself, with my effort slowly, I eject out of this cranium. Out. Because यहीं से अंदर भी आते हैं. जब जीव अंदर आता है इधर से, But if he does sadhana, as a sadhaka, again goes out of it. If he is a samsari, he goes from other holes. Simanam Vidarya. This is what is the word used in Taittiriya Upanishad, how he enters. Then a jnani exists also from here. That's what when somebody died and it is burnt, Kapala Moksham they look for. When the head gets broken, they listen to the breaking of the Kapala here, but that is because the heat it is broken. But what is in Shastra said is the Jiva before the body is left, because he understands कि body का time हो गया, he himself by choice ejects out of it. That is a Kapala. Not when it is put under fire. Put under fire उससे पहले जा चुका है वो तो ऑलरेडी मर गया. But anyway, all these complicated things we need not. So up to Hridaya Akasha we came. Tomorrow this Bhashya will talk about Antarena Taluke Sthana Iva Avalambate Saha Indrayonihi. What is the meaning of? Then this one Keshanto Vivartate. Up to this he comes. Then Vyapohya Shirsha Kapale he will go where? Bhuiti Agnau Bhoriti Vayo Soritya Aditya Mahiti Brahmani. All these beautiful things, not knowing all these higher pursuits. You just with the Dehadi Tadatmya running behind like a Pururava, behind all stupid Urvashis. And all the worldly pursuits, which are no meaning except giving frustration, dukkha. All that. It may take 2 more days for this Anuvaka. If kal ho gaya, to ho gaya. Because I want to feel that I want to feel happy with myself that we justified the meaning of shloka as well as bhashya. Then how much to understand it, how much upasana to do and reach to that level, it is yours and mine. मेरा मुझे करना है, आपका आपको करना है. But class में जो विषय है subject matter, we have to thorough in study. That's my goal. But studying is not sadhana. Studying is only inspiration, information and inspiration. Like we spoke 30 minutes today introduction mein, any amount of intellectual thing we understand, it is not sadhana. Sadhana is actually when we do. Like when I said, detach from Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, then go to the Hridaya. It is only intellectual knowledge. If it is not practically done, you can never go to that Adhara Vidya. इसको कहते upasana. In that upasana, all the things, what are the things which are strengthening my deha prana tadatmya, उन सबको कम करते ही जाना है. Then the mind's all thousands of traits and moods of mind are there. All of them are not only obstruction for spiritual sadhana, but they are nothing but creating fuss and frustration for us only in the world and also to the world. ये सारे sort out करना पड़ता है. My attachment to you, my dependencies on you, my expectations from you, my insistences on you, my inability to accept you, ये हजारों बेवकूफियां मूर्खताएं मन में है. उन सबको लेकर बैठो ध्यान में, you only will come in my mind, not the self of myself. That is the upasana. Then the japadi upasanas to focus the mind, because earlier the mind was so busy in अन्नमय प्राणमय मनोमय and samsara. अब उन सबसे खींच रहे उसको, वो बेचैन होता है. इसलिए through various upasanas it is held for some time. Then it is guided in this way of discovering the Purusha. And every day we have to sit Subha Dopahar Sham ko for some time trying to reach the Purusha in the heart. And all of us will reach up to the inverted Mamsa Pinda, not to the space. Some of us can reach up to space, but recognizing their Purusha, Manomaya, Amrita, Hiranamaya is the real challenge. Because that Purusha, like he is like a child whom you want to hold on and give an injection. वो इतना उसको पता चलता है, सुई देखते और रोने लगता है, हाथ पैर ऐसा मारता है, he will not allow only. So to the Purusha, out of habit, never stays in the heart, comes and identifies the Upadhi and lives an external world. उसको वहां दबा के दबोच के पकड़ के रखना मुश्किल होता है. Like you hold the child daba ke daboch ke, and then only injection is given. When you catch any of the tigers or bhalu, even the kutte ko road mein ya suar, you just see how they are caught. Daba ke, daboch ke, pakadna. Even criminals. Like the other day when the Japan XPM was killed, immediately the police attacked, daboch liya usko. In the same way, the ego has to be dabochod because it's running out. It is habitual to it. It is never staying in the Hridaya Akasha. It is running to all the upadhis. And who is that it I am saying so far? It is I, me only. मुझे अपने आप को उस हृदय आकाश में जीव के रूप में बिठाना है या पकड़ना है या पकड़ के रखना है. It is not that I am the one who is holding somebody. It is me reaching there. I who came out of Hridaya, staying at the Golakas level, perceiving the world throughout the day from getting up till I sleep. That I have to find myself consciously to be away from these earlier three koshas and find myself in that Hridaya Akasha, and that too as Purusha, Manomaya, Amrita, Hiranyamaya. मेरा अपना वाला आइडेंटिटी दिल में जो वैसा है वहीं रहने का. Like you got a traveling LTC by your company, so you went to different foreign countries, Europe country, घूम रहे हैं. So you are a traveler, you are on looker, you are a visitor, you are enjoying. सब होने के बाद you come back to your own office, sit in your seat as that particular post person. Same way, I came out of my seat of the Hridaya and I am doing this foreign tour through the Upadhis. Now all that foreign tour khatam karke, I have to go and sit in my place. Means what? To be literal concluding thought, I have to discover myself to be in the cave of heart as Manomaya, Anmrutamaya, Hiranyamaya, Purusha. This is the first step. Then that me eject out, identify, then transcend. We'll see tomorrow. Om, 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 Om. Om, 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 Om. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamādaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Paramarshibhyo Namaha Parabrahmane Namaha Shrutimatre Namaha. Om Yagnavalkadi Samasta Rishibhyo Namaha. Vedavyasa Vaishampayana Rishibhyo Namaha. Adi Shankara Gurubhyo Namaha. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha. Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu. 10 minutes Viduraniti.